360 cameras are an incredible way to film yourself skiing or boarding, but have it look like somebody else is filming you. However, the final footage can have some clues that give the secret away, or at least are pretty distracting. Specifically, the shadow and the blind spot not quite being so blind. Let's talk about a way to address both of those issues.
Come away with me tonight. I'll make it worth your while.
Let's start with the blind spot that suddenly becomes not so blind. What's happening there? Understanding the blind spot issue requires an understanding of how the camera works. The Insta360 and GoPro 360 cameras both have two fisheye lenses facing in opposite directions. This lens films 180 degrees in this direction. This lens films 180 degrees in the opposite direction. Combine them in the app and you have 360 degrees of footage. The magic of these cameras is that they exploit the obvious. Neither lens can film what's behind it. And what's behind both of these lenses? About a 1-inch thickness where the camera lies. So neither lens can see the camera. That's also how the selfie stick is hidden. It stays within that 1-inch width between the lenses, so you can't see it. So you can hold the selfie stick and nobody will know that you're holding it. However, if you're skiing or boarding at high speed on rough terrain, the selfie stick may bend a little bit. It's not completely rigid. If it flexes enough, the lens may pick it up in the shot. You'll end up seeing a little black mark that comes and goes as the selfie stick flexes. And depending on the amount of the flex, it may be a large black mark. This effect is most visible in my footage when I wear a white helmet and I attach the selfie stick to the helmet. I've talked about this in a past video. I don't recommend that anybody do it. I don't do it that frequently, but when I do, you can clearly see the black mark coming and going. It's kind of distracting to me because I know it's there. Yeah, maybe it just looks like a scuff mark on the helmet, but even then, it kind of flickers as the pole flexes, so it's not a constant size, and either way, you don't have a clean shot. The solution is actually pretty simple. Make sure there's something dark at the end of the selfie stick, whether it's your glove, your jacket. If that black mark appears, it will blend in and you won't see it. Here, the glove conceals the spot. When I'm wearing a black helmet, the mark is still there, but you can't see it because it totally blends into the helmet. The shadow of the pole is visible on my hood, but even with the lime stripe on my helmet, the spot is concealed by all the black. Here, I covered the lime stripe so that the helmet is entirely black and you can't see the spot at all, whether close up or further away. It's just a much cleaner shot. The real key is to have something dark that can conceal the visible blind spot when and if it appears. Now let's cover the shadow. You can have a great clip of yourself, but somebody watching may see the shadow and realize that it does not match you. That's because the shadow has the selfie stick. So the viewer may start focusing on that instead of just enjoying the clip. So what's my solution to this problem? Well, it's to break a fundamental rule of filming. I'm not a professional. I don't know that it's a fundamental rule, but I assume it is because everybody knows about it. The solution I've come up with is to place yourself between the sun and the camera. That way, when you go into the app and choose the direction of the frame, the shadow is behind the camera. It's not behind you. Obviously, you may now be dealing with an overexposure issue because when you frame yourself, the camera is looking straight into the sun as well. But I found that the Insta360 does a great job handling overexposure. You can still see the subject and a lot of color without any issue. It's not the best angle for color and exposure, but if you want to get rid of the shadow, it's a solution that works. So here, with the camera facing the sun, you come into the shot between the camera and the sun, and the shadow revealing that you're holding a selfie stick is nowhere to be seen because it's behind the camera. And the color and exposure actually look pretty decent. Again here, you're in between the camera and the sun. The color looks okay, and the exposure is pretty good given that what you're going for is to hide the distracting shadow in front of you so the viewer doesn't see it. The skier is in between the sun and the camera. The shadow is off screen so the viewer can focus on the skier.
Chasing dreams. You